and gentlemen, and welcome along once again to the Third and Long Podcast Monday night edition, week 2 review. I have been dreading this all day. My name is the incomparable Shane Harris. Above me is Oliver Butler Henderson. To my top right is my beautiful baby Hope. And bottom corner, my old buddy, Mr. P, Philip Perrins. Gentlemen, one at a time, how are you feeling? OBH, I'll start with you.
Somber. I think I can orchestrate for us all of today that this is it's always shit when your team loses on a Sunday night.
Baby, how are you doing? You okay?
Yeah, I think this is going to be more of a therapy session than a podcast for all of us. I was saying before we went on air that I think the last time I did a podcast where everyone on the podcast team has lost, it was just me and Endo.
Yeah.
That was a while ago. Mr. P, how are you doing, bud?
It was just, I didn't put it on the chat last night, but it is just the continuation of the 49er Newcastle curse, where if Newcastle United win, the 49ers lose, and vice versa. And I just knew after the full-time whistle last night with Newcastle beating Wolverhampton Wanderers to go joint second in the Premier League, I just knew that San Francisco were not going to be walking out of Minnesota with that W. It was such a weird thing.
There were lots of curses in place yesterday. We've not won in Minnesota for over 28 years.
Wow.
We never win when the 49ers faithful UK have a meetup. And also we had the Newcastle curse. And thank you, Jack, for the comment of Scott.
I bet you're glad Tom's not in the show anymore because he is like any fan would rub it in your face.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm going to do it in a couple of weeks, mind you, but you know.
Well, I mean, let's see what happens when you come to Levi.
All right, boys. All right, handbags. Come on now, please. Nothing of note happened anywhere. Nothing at hope happened anywhere else in the NFL yesterday. So, do you want to start with?
You guys had an easier game than us.
We still managed to mess it up, but I will come on to that shower of shit shortly. Can we start? Oh fuck! Go on.
No, we'll start with Thursday Night Football. Let's start there. I don't want to start with talking about the football. In fact, I don't think we're going to talk about the football in this game. We're going to talk about Tua. Okay?
Yes.
This guy has had 4 concussions in the space of 2.5 years. Okay? 2022, he had a
two in the space
5 days.
I was about to say 2 in the space of about 2 days.
I mean, it's come reports he's going to see a specialist, and it's come out reports that he's not going to retire from football. But surely someone needs to be going to him, look, Tua, this isn't going to help you, mate. This isn't going to help you. I mean, the first thing I thought of, I won't lie, when I saw him going for that hit, was, why are you lowering your head to go into that? Why aren't you sliding? And it was just, what the heck? You know, this guy has had multiple head injuries and it's cost him multiple games, and it's probably going to cost him multiple years in his life. As you vanished off the screen for a minute, Mr. Perrins, I'm going to go for Baby Hope first.
Okay, genuine question. How many concussions has Brandon Cooks had? Because he's got to be rivaling Tua.
Yeah, that's very true. I mean,
I know he's had a long career,
Cooks,
but still.
Yeah, I mean, Brandon Cooks, I remember the one they had in the Super Bowl against Philadelphia, where literally it was a crossing route and he got wiped out, absolutely completely wiped out off the ball, you know, atrocious hit, and the guy got ejected rightly. But
didn't he get one for the Rams?
I mean, this guy's had
so
many hits in so many years. It's seriously dangerous now.
In the playoffs for the Rams too.
Yeah. Mr. P, you had your hand up.
Yeah, sorry, my cat wants me to brush her while we're on air because she's just being a pain in the neck at the moment. Yeah, well, you know my fluffy white cat, Shano. You know that she is ridiculously loud and unwielding. So I watched the highlight, and it was actually interesting, like how the NFL YouTube highlights really, really cut it. As soon as the hit takes, like you see the collision and they cut away. And I don't know whether or not, and we hear this about like quarterbacks, the ones that like typically tend to slide or to go in head first. I know like Joe Montana historically and Steve Young historically never slid. They always went head first. And then there's other quarterbacks as well that have done the same thing over the course of the NFL 100 years and so.
Purdy goes head first usually.
Who?
Purdy.
Yeah. And I think that's just, I think it's like quarterback instinct. And we talked about like quarterback instinct. I talked about it like with my coaching sessions there with my team, and I was saying like the guy who plays quarterback for us, he's really good at certain things as a quarterback, but he's not a natural quarterback. He doesn't have those natural quarterback tendencies, like when to scramble, when to go for his reads, when to audible. And I think with someone like Tua, who hasn't, I mean, since you said it, Hendo, I've really thought about it in terms of like his last year in the NFL as a whole. He's been on the decline, and I don't think he knows how to change his playing style. So this is his fourth concussion, but I don't think he knows or is aware of it enough to change how he approaches those particular type of scenarios where instead of going head first, slide. Or or get hit up, or anything that he can do. I don't think he knows how to, or has that natural ability to change how he approaches it. And I just think I feel really bad for him because I really like Tua, but I'd be surprised now if Miami don't seriously for his own health. And this is going to be probably Mike McDaniel's biggest test. And we thought Mike McDaniel's biggest test was trying to keep, Tyreek's assets in his pants, or keeping him out of police problems and speeding. But I think it's actually going to be how they deal with Tua. I think that's going to be his biggest test as a head coach, because this is huge for Miami. They've invested a lot of capital in him, and for him to go down 4 times in the space of 2 and a bit years is terrifying.
Yeah, agreed. Shayna.
Boys, it wouldn't surprise me if Tua's time is up in Miami now. Like, as Phil said, it's football that's doing the talking, it's his health. He's had many concussions now, and as of today, Dolphins, pronouns, pal. The Dolphins have taken Tyler Huntley from the Ravens practice squad to play quarterback in his absence because Skylar Thompson isn't good enough yet. Tyler Huntley's okay, but he ain't no Tua. But it wouldn't surprise me if he ends up like Andrew Luck.
Yeah, but I don't think Snoop Huntley's going to play this week because I don't think he'll have the playbook down in time.
No.
They've already said Skyler's going to start. So there's something that Mr. Perrin said, which made me think. It's a normal thing for QBs to duck their head, not many of them slide. We saw in Hard Knocks that the Bears were teaching their QBs how to slide.
Yeah, I quite enjoyed that, getting the slip and slide out.
Oh, that's brilliant. Is it a case now that the NFL step in going, right, to stop our assets getting injured, our big stars, our superstars, which are 90% of the time are the quarterbacks, do we now ban them for going head first? Because there's only one quarterback I think going head first and get away with it, and that's Josh Allen. Because the size of the build of that guy, he'll just bounce off people. Phil.
What about making them wear the caps? We saw in the off season with like the scrimmage hats, and there were some NFL players, and especially like with how the helmets are, they were saying about actually wearing them during games. The NFL is already very much quarterback protection heavy as it is. You're then asking a whole defense to essentially say, if you see the quarterback running at you, just to almost double touch, like two-handed touch them, as opposed to what you would do to a running back, tight end, receiver, etc., etc. So, I could believe that Roger Goodell and the owners would put that through as a thing of you can't touch the quarterback anymore. or if they're scrambling. But then you see quarterbacks that would take advantage of that. Lamar would get a touchdown every single game. Patrick Mahomes would get a touchdown every single game. Josh Allen, Jalen Hurts. It would happen every single game with these scrambling quarterbacks that would just play the system, dupe the defenses into. Wasn't there a college player? I think it was like last year. I can't remember. I just remember the highlights where he was going to dive and he went down. The defense thought it like the linebacker was going to go for him, kind of like pulled out the tackle, and then he just jumped out of it and just ran on for like extra yards or even a touchdown. And that was like massive. Yeah. So I think it's likely that they're more to wear the scrimmage caps and be made to wear them during games, as opposed to them changing the tackling rules again to protect the quarterbacks. Because
I'm not saying changing the tackling rules. I'm saying that stopping a quarterback, if a quarterback goes with his head first instead of taking the slide, the flag, just to make the quarterbacks protect themselves. Because if the quarterback's going for the slide, they're automatically protected because they're giving themselves up. That's how I see. Right? Okay, they're not allowed to, put the head in like Tua did against Hamlin. But that kind of situation, maybe.
Just going back to the point that Phil made about the caps. I mean, they've been given the option to wear them this year, and out of everybody who's had the option to wear them in the NFL, I think one person's decided to.
There's a Steelers lineman and Peppers for the Patriots defensive back wears it.
Okay, two then.
That I've noticed. I know.
I
Jonathan Taylor thought about it a couple of times.
Yeah, I remember saying. I was going to say. I remember reading that Jonathan Taylor was thinking about it, but I read that only one player had chosen. But if there's two you can think of, then my point was a lot of them have chosen not to. So I think as long as they have the option, then the NFL will say, well, we're giving you the option to protect yourselves. But I don't think they'll ever put a mandate across saying that you have to wear it.
Yeah. I mean, the game itself, it was dominated by James Cook with his 3 touchdowns. And before he went down, Tua threw 3 picks. And 2 of those picks were shocking picks. Absolutely. One was as bad as Will Levis's against Chicago. They were shocking. Right, let's roll on to Sunday night's games. And Shane, we are going to start with you, my friend.
All right.
Only because that's the order I've written the whole games down, mate.
Fine, man. I'm just happy to get it out the way. So, the Minshew Mania Tour rolled into Baltimore for the Ravens opening game.
Hang on. We got to do it. So, Baltimore, what do you want to talk about?
Thank you. Finish up.
Go.
Honestly, do you know what? I cooked a pizza last night to watch the game with and have it when the game was on. I ended up eating it today because I was so fucking angry at that shower of shit that we saw yesterday. Right? I couldn't eat it. I went to bed after the games. I was so pissed off. Yeah, I should have been watching the rest of the games, but I was too pissed off. And Phil knows what I'm talking about because when he lost the Super Bowl, he was inconsolable for months, right? And so he knows. That was funny to say that. I was just, I couldn't get to sleep. My stomach was in bits because I was reading the stuff on the Reddit page and the Twitter page, and I was like, oh my God. And I was like, the pitchforks are out for John Harbaugh after 2 games. People are saying about Derrick Henry. They know when Henry's on the field, they're going to run the ball. Well, obviously, it's what a 300-pound back does for you. I mean, yeah. And, go on, I'll be bitter about it. F it. The refs were on a Raiders side. Anything Devontae Adams done, the refs were like, yay, well done. If you go out of bounds, don't worry about it. It's all right, but fine. Fuck you. So, there was a lot. There was 2 teams we played against yesterday in black and white, the Raiders and the refs. But this does not go against any of how we played. We did not play the best. I think we've got now the Cowboys at 9:30 this coming Sunday, and then it's the Bills and Bengals. So we could be looking at 0-5 before we know it, and I'm terrified. But I did say, but did I not say at the beginning of the season I'm not confident about this team at all?
If you guys are 0-5, no matter what the Niners are, I will be laughing my ass off.
You won't be the only one, but
anyways,
you
don't
won't
worry
be.
about it.
What? I mean,
Right.
like Marlon Humphrey picked off Gardner Minshew, which was, it is what it is. But yeah, the Raiders won 26-23 with a last-minute field goal by Daniel Carlson. This was the game we should have won. This was the one we should have won. We should have nailed on. Home opener, tribute to Jacoby Jones and Coach D as well. But we still couldn't get the fucking job done. We're shooting ourselves in the foot already. Sorry, continue.
Right, let's put a actual football spin onto this. Max Crosby is a human wrecking ball. I've seen bits of this. Him and Christian Wilkins are going to be absolutely destroying. And then you've got Robert Spillane, who is a great DB.
He picked off LJ well.
Baby.
I hate to keep circling back to this, but Lamar was still missing throws again yesterday.
Looks like he's regressed, doesn't he?
He was still running all over the place, but he was still missing throws. And
I mean,
I'm gonna reference something I said last season. Lamar is a game changer, but if he can't be a game manager, he can't be a starting quarterback.
what was that phrase you always used to say, Baby Hope?
Some quarterbacks can win you the game, some quarterbacks you hope don't lose it.
And which one you putting Lamar in?
Lamar can win you a game, but the thing is, he can also lose you a game. But every quarterback can do that.
In all honesty,
I just think Lamar's more likely to lose it than some other quarterbacks.
The O-line lost us a game yesterday because they couldn't defend Max Crosby. Max Crosby was a fucking animal. He was everywhere. Wherever LJ was, he was right in his face. And I was like, well, we've always sung Max Crosby's praises on this show. We're a big fan of him. He's going to be a big shout for Defensive Player of the Year. But oh my God, yesterday was stressful. And again, I'll keep circling back. It was supposed to be a game we were supposed to win. But football's not big on paper.
Yeah, I mean, the Raiders did probably one of the best bit of acquisition going in the offseason. I was taking Christian Wilkes across from Dolphins.
Yes, Christian Wilkins, 100%.
Because now you've got to mark against two incredible D linemen.
You know, Wilkes turned down the Niners to go to the Raiders for $3 million more.
Good lad.
Wow. Right, let's segue over to you, boys.
Phil, do you want to go first or shall I go first?
I wanted just to talk about the Raiders a little bit more, but that's just me.
I expected this. Go on.
I mean, all right, then fine. It's something that I've said on this a few times about the Raiders, and it is. Hold on, I've just had it, and I just completely just put it down. Hold on, shut up.
Talk among yourselves.
Talk amongst yourself, Raiders fans. Okay.
Have you seen?
All right, I've got it back up now. All right.
Woohoo!
The autumn wind is a raider. I can do that.
We go.
Where's that mute button?
The what?
Carry on.
All right, no, it's fine. The Raiders were good, and this is literally how Antonio Pierce wanted to turn the team into. He is turning them into a defensive wrecking machine. Slow start on offense last week, but it's hard to argue that their run game, that I nearly said Oakland run game, that Vegas run game is really good. They really worn down. I thought they really worn down your defense, and they did.
The run game wasn't working. If you watched the game like I did, the run game wasn't working, so they had to resort to the passing game. Basically, they played into Baker's hands. It was basically they were giving the ball to Michael Mayer, giving the ball to Brock Bowers, giving the ball to Devontae Adams and Jacoby Myers.
Yeah, and they wore the defense down.
It's 17 carries for 27 yards. The Raiders' rushing offense.
And they still worn them down. Like the Ravens in the fourth quarter could not stop. We said it before they went down and scored that touchdown. Like the Raiders are going to win this, and they still had 60 yards to get. Like they just played really, really well. And I think I think the Ravens might be going for mediocrity with a very disappointing 9-8.
Time of possession. Raiders was just over 30 minutes and 43 seconds. Baltimore 29-17. You hold the ball more 9 times out of 10, you're going to win. Right, go on then. Let's go over to San Francisco now. And
Yay!
Do you want to go first, Phil, or shall I?
You go first because you watched this entirety. I came back from football halfway through, so I've only seen the highlights and the other bits of news that I've read.
Okay, well, I think there are three main fundamentals that I think lost us the game. Number one, Purdy, to me, never looked comfortable in the pocket. He did not get into a rhythm at all.
despite throwing 319 yards.
Yeah, but only one TD and one interception. He was telegraphing. Debo and Kittle were catching anything they could. He threw high so many times and gave up yak yards. Two, the 97-yard bomb to
Ridiculous.
Jefferson. I would love to know why we had a rookie and a second-year player on him. Literally, Ronaldo Green is the quarterback. It's his second game, and he's covering the best cornerback in football.
Wide receiver, but yeah.
Yeah, whatever. And finally, not being able to get off the field at third down. The amount of third downs they converted, 3rd and 8, 3rd and 7, 3rd and 8, 3rd and 7. There were four players that I will say played well yesterday for the Niners. Debo Samuel and George Kittle, as I said, they were catching everything. On the defensive side, Fred Warner and Nick Bosa.
Yeah.
What happened to Bosa? Because you said he went down.
Yeah, he was fine. He was back in 2 plays later. But he got 2 sacks. Fred Warner, I think, forced 2 fumbles. But apart from that, nobody played well. And I know we've not won in Minnesota for God knows how long. And the 49ers faithful UK need to just stop having meetups. I don't care if Joe said. I don't care if Joe Montana's going to turn up. Just stop having.
Can you make sure we do it on Super Bowl days? Whenever that's you guys in a Super Bowl.
They do it every Super Bowl.
That explains a lot.
Frank Gore turned up yesterday. Joe Staley turned up. I don't care if bloody John Lynch is going to turn up. Just don't do it. We always lose. We also historically don't play very well at 6 o'clock games. And bloody Newcastle United won.
I mean, Gemma said that to us when we came back from the football. She was like, "Oh, San Francisco are on early," and we're like, "Yeah, we're playing essentially on the east side of the country, so we typically get the earlier games when we're not west coast." Brandon Ayuk was ineffective, and I think we are witnessing how one-dimensional. You can disagree or agree with me here, baby, but I think you will. How one-dimensional we look when Brandon Ayuk's been sat out for the whole offseason and then not having Christian McCaffrey. And I did think when the plays that because I came back for halfway through the third quarter into the fourth, it looked like nearly every single play, Purdy's checkdowns were, is Debo open? Is Kittle open? Okay, it's one of the others. And then there was a couple of times you got to Jawan, but I just thought we were very one-dimensional, which is so weird for a Kyle Shanahan offense. Like it's weird. I don't know whether or not it's just a one-off. Purdy didn't look comfortable at all, despite him throwing for over 300 yards. 1 touchdown, 1 interception. Yes.
The interception was unlucky.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, I also think like our red zone conversion is not great. I think again we're paying the price of not having Christian McCaffrey as like another threat. And there's a couple of times that we settle for field goals with Moody. Yeah. And thank God for Moody this year because he's hitting everything at the moment. So
the 4th and 1 play that you wouldn't have seen. It was 4th and 1 on our 1, and we tried to throw it to Jennings.
Yeah.
and it got tipped. We were 1 yard away. Just get behind your big man and rush it.
Yeah, literally sneak it.
If McCaffrey was there, it would have been a handoff.
Well, I'm surprised he didn't even try it for
100%.
Juice.
Yeah,
Like,
I was
just
like,
use Juice.
Juice, Mason, anyone, but we tried to throw it and it got tipped. But,
And
but
also-
if McCaffrey was there, it would have been a handoff to McCaffrey.
Yeah. And just finally, because I don't want to turn it into the 49er show, I 100% agree with you that the last two games, Bosa and Fred Warner have looked amazing. And that was the one thing we criticised last year about Wilkes' defence, not getting Bosa involved as much, even though we know why Bosa took a long time to get going. This season's, Fred Warner still looks amazing. He's Superman in the backfield for the 49ers. Both look really good, but our defense looks so stodgy. And I don't know whether or not that is we're expecting players to come back. We're playing quite a lot of rookies. There might be some teething issues there. But I just don't feel that our defense has the same umph. And I've said this before, and I said this on, when we talked in the offseason about like the 49ers, we went from having a very great defense with Salah to being elite with D'Amico. And it's just felt the last couple of years we've kind of, even though we've got the same pieces, we just don't seem as good.
It took D'Amico half a year to go into the role as a defensive coordinator.
Yeah.
I think we need to give Sorensen a bit of time.
Fair. And he's been there the longest out of all of them as well. Like he has turned this job down a few times already.
Jack has said first time the Vikes have gone 2-0 since 2016.
When was the last time the Vikings were good, by the way? Was it when they had Brett Favre? Was that the literal last time they were good? When they got to like a championship game?
Minnesota Miracle.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Miracle in Minneapolis with Stephon Diggs.
When was that?
Which was Case Keenum under center.
Yeah,
so
Case
that
Keenum,
was 5 years ago now.
Anyway, speaking of NFC West teams and teams that are one-on-one, Ollie?
We're AFC East, but okay.
No, but just remind me who you were playing.
Yeah, all right, we're playing Seattle.
Just remind me which division they're in.
Let's put it this way. I am incredibly glad we didn't do this podcast 23 hours earlier because it could have been a very, very different atmosphere that I possessed.
Was that the only one that wasn't that annoyed yesterday? Because everybody else seems to have been very, very angry, but I just accepted the fact that we got beaten by the better team on the day.
I was pissed. Okay, so yes, you're going to accept this under rookie head coach, and there's rookie, Van Pelt's new and the DC's new and all that as well. So you're going to accept that things are going to happen. But you're on 4th and 1. You're in the 38-yard line, so it'd be it was like a 46-yard field goal, and they took the field goal instead of going for the touchdown, going for the juggler, and it would have put them 6 points up instead of the 3, which means Seattle had to go for the touchdown.
Yeah, but I appreciate that because
it needed that juggler feeling. I mean, they're building, they are getting better, and it is an improvement, a massive improvement from last season. Don't get me wrong. But it always used to be a case, especially under Brady, right, we're going to go for the juggler. Right, okay, 4th and 1. Sod it. What we got? We got Gronk. You've got Jules. You've got James Devlin. Jerome Barnes. Or any of them. You've got all those lead players, but you've still got some good players on there. And Mondre's having a great season so far. He's over 250 yards already this season rushing. And give him the ball. Let him do it. 1 yard, you can get it. Their O-line isn't that good. Their rush defense isn't that good in Seattle. Take it. Go for it. And there was issues there. There wasn't enough run. There was some weird play options, play calling. But yeah, talking about 2016, first time since 2016 that a Patriot has had over 100 yards since Chris Hogan in the first half in 2016. That's how long we've had a receiver have over 100 yards in the first half. Ridiculous.
Who got over 100 yards in the first half?
Hunter Henry.
Oh, okay, fair play.
And he was played a lot better. He looks better. There is elements where he looked better. Play call, and Jacoby looks calm under it, and I think having him there instead of Drake May works. But the same issue as you, we couldn't stop them on third down. So many times that Seattle had the third down. It wasn't like just making the gain line. They were big chunk plays, like 30 yards, 20 yards. And it's like, you can't let likes of DK, Tyler Lockett, and JSN have more than a space. Seattle's touchdown that DK scored, that was a complete, utter blown coverage. I think it was a mix-up.
He was so open.
It was a mix-up between Gonzo and Duggar. So the way I read it, and Phil will probably see this as well, you had two wide receivers on the backside. Yeah, the backside. You had Tyler Lockett and you had DK Metcalf, and then you had Duggar and Gonzo. So Gonzo was meant to be taking the slot route. So Tyler Lockett and Duggar should have been taking the deep route, because that's how safeties play. You take the deeper route. That's what safety is meant to do. And Duggar went to the slot man, not DK Metcalf, and it left DK Metcalf in like 15 yards worth of space. And you're not going to miss a man in 15 yards of space unless you're Lamar. But yeah, I mean, you had an issue with penalties, so I'm going to pick one up that is an issue that even it's been reported. Tyler Lockett said that's not a penalty when it was against him. Jack Jones, I think it might have been Jonathan Jones. It was A. Jones. We got three of them in the backfield. It was ridiculous. A bit handsy. Tyler was a bit. Lockett was a bit handsy as well, and flag came out. Okay. Offensive pass interference. Brilliant. 15. Nope. Defensive pass interference. What? It gave them a 40-yard gain. It put them straight to field goal. That's what made one thing that made me angry. The next play, exactly the same again. Exactly the same situation, but it's Marcus Jones and I think it's JSN. Same situation. And the flag wasn't thrown. Exactly the same play. And it's like, well, what's the difference between that one and that one? We talk about it in our game, that going.
Phil, did you notice how we didn't blame the refs and they all are?
I'm not blaming the refs. I'm just calling out two plays. I'm not blaming the refs at all, because
that is blaming the refs, though, isn't it?
No, I'm just saying that calling out an inconsistency when there's two very plays are very, very, very similar. One's a flag, one isn't a flag.
I'm just saying that the one call didn't go our way, and then the next call didn't go our way. But not that I'm saying that the refs made a mistake.
One must have been a mistake, because if you look at the replays, they're exactly the same. But it's just talking about inconsistency. That's all I'm on about. And it goes with our offense as well. First half, brilliant. Second half, okay, got going. But yeah, we're getting better. You know, to be 1-1, we're going to be 2-2 come you guys, or even maybe 3-1. Miami aren't nothing, so it could be 4-1 when we go into, and even 5-1 when we continue when we come over here. So hey, we'll see.
Well, you think when you guys come into the come into Levi 1-2 that you're going to come out with a W?
Mate, I'm just taking the mic. To be fair, right, I want us to win every single game because a fan does.
That's what we want, don't we? We want to root for our fans. Like, I mean, as daft as it said, I did say before the season starts, I think the Patriots are going to have a good season, and you started the season really well. And naturally, we don't want to be sitting here with. I mean, in an ideal world, we want all our teams to be 2-0, don't we? Like. We want Lamar to, we want Lamar to be doing well. We want the Patriots to be doing well. We want the 49ers to be doing well. So I'm not going to knock. We won't knock anybody for their fandom, because that's literally why we exist. Us four found each other because we love the sport and we love bantering each other about our teams. So I really want the Patriots to do well, because you become NFL royalty, and unlike other footballing teams that are doing well, I really want the Patriots to go back to being good, because I want competition in the AFC to stop the Chiefs winning everything.
I've just noticed some comments that I missed, which is from Keiko saying Shane's favourite game going up, Tomb Raider.
He told me that last night. Funny.
Shane's favourite film Raiders of the Lost Ark.
But we that one last night too.
Oh, brilliant. What a cake. I
Boys,
love that.
we're going to come back from this. It's the first time that we've been 0-2 since 2015, right? We're going to come back. I have no doubt in my mind. The players that we've got on that pitch, the talent that we have on that field, we're going to come back from this.
Okay, then.
Yeah, but I mean, if the refs are against you again, what can you do?
Well, I say every week now and then. Cadell's got to do something about it.
Oh, stop. Well, stop whinging, Shano. Right.
I know,
next game. Let's go to Baby Hope with the Bengals and the Chiefs.
Okay, Bengals Chiefs. I mean, I think we can all say this was the game of the week.
Yeah.
Before the game started.
Yeah.
Had Tony Romo and Jim Nance, CBS's A team on it. And I mean, what a game it was. 26-25 to Chiefs won. Joe Burrows looked like Joe Burrows of old, not Joe Burrows of week one, although he seemed to refuse to pass the ball to Jamar Chase.
Did I miss something? Did he put an S on his name and not tell anyone?
Oh, what?
He's trying to be funny.
Yeah, he's speaking Welsh. I can't tell what he's saying.
Just like his voice notes last night.
Yeah. So Joe Burrows looked like the old. Patrick Mahomes honestly didn't have a good game. But the thing that I'm most annoyed about in this game is that Isaiah Pacheco got injured with, I believe, a fractured fibula.
Correct, yeah.
And not just because of my fancy teams, which he is in two of them of, it's because he is one of my favorite players in the NFL to actually watch play football.
Just because the way he runs, yeah?
Yeah, the way he runs his style. I love watching him play. So I am absolutely gutted that he is going to end up on IR and probably out for the season.
Yeah, broken fibula. Don't know the extent of it yet, but yeah, I mean, Gesicki looks like he's been learned how to play football again, or been used to play.
Yeah, I'll tell you who played well. That wide receiver whose name I can't pronounce for the Bengals. One that begins with an I. He got 2 touchdowns, 2 receptions. OBS or something. He scored. Yeah. I think he got 2 receptions, 7 yards, and 2 touchdowns.
Yeah, not bad. Not bad. 4 targets from it. Yeah.
The Bengals running backs weren't anything special. Zach Moss, I think, had the bulk of the carries.
Yeah,
obviously,
I mean,
Pacheco looked very good. Pacheco looked very good. The backup, I think, was Cameron Steele, was it? He looked okay. I'm assuming P. Ryan will come in now.
Yeah, I mean, so Carson Steele is the rookie. Bloody good.
I believe P. Ryan will probably come in until Clyde Edwards-Helaire's back.
I would say so, yeah. We did see a rare mistake, though. We did see a rare Patrick Mahomes mistake where he threw straight to a defender.
Yeah, and we got to see a lot of Taylor Swift, Shane. She was fanning herself as Travis Kelce came out at the start.
Okay, sorry. I've been reliably informed that people are allowed to like different types of music. Everyone, I am sorry. Taylor Swift chick is some sort of god amongst us mere mortals. I'm sorry. I worship at her all like you do.
People are allowed to like Taylor Swift.
I mean, the only Taylor Swift song I like is Done by Hypervel.
Yeah, boy.
What about the one? Oh no, that was Ed Sheeran that did that one with Bring Me the Horizon, wasn't it?
Yeah, that was Ed Sheeran, Bring Me the Horizon. Right. Yeah, it's a big loss for Checo because he is. I do believe he was about to have a breakout season. I generally do.
I think he's already had a breakout season. I class him as a top 5 running back in the NFL.
I reckon he was about to become the best running back in the league. I generally do because he could play
second best.
I don't know. We all know Derrick Henry's not in the top 15, so he might not be in the top 30. He might not be in the top 32, to be honest.
Just say.
I mean, Niners have 2 that are better than him. So.
Fucking hell! Cowboys now. I can't stand it.
Look at how many yards Derrick Henry's got this year. Look at how many yards Jordan Mason's got this year.
All right.
And touchdowns.
Okay, you made your point.
Yeah, Derrick Henry's beat it.
Phil, I believe you want to stay in the AFC West, and I think Arizona have the reincarnation of Randy Moss.
Yeah. So I was actually blown away with this game because, again, just going back to like our preseason projections, and I can't remember if it was me or Baby, but I was saying how I think the Cardinals will be better than the Rams this year.
That was you.
Yeah. Oh, fantastic.
I thought the Rams were going to come second in the division, so it was you.
Yeah. Maybe.
So coming into this game, the Cardinals were on an 8-game losing streak in the NFC. Sorry, in the NFC West. Like, they hadn't beaten Rams, us, or Seattle in 8 games previous to this. Kyler Murray was out there playing like prime Michael Vick. Now, we're talking Michael Vick before he got found out as being a horrible human being. But we're talking like how amazing he was before he found out about all the animal harm issues that he was doing as well. He looked very, very poised behind the pocket. For someone that's not quite tall, he looked really big behind his offensive line. Some of the deep bombs as well that he was throwing, I mean, we're just looking at like some of them in particular. James Conner, oh my God. He was brilliant in the rushing game. But if we're talking about Marvin Harrison Jr., having 4 receptions for 130 yards and 2 tutties, his longest was that 60-yard bomb. And I just thought the Cardinals looked like a team that you can't argue are rebuilding. They're actually, looking like they might go for a bit of a go for it this year in the NFC as a whole. My comment on the Rams, and this is not difficult for me to say, I said it at the back end of last year when it came to Matt Stafford. Matt Stafford did throw for 216 yards, yay for him, but the team around him are a mixture of the Walking Dead, i.e. coming back from injury, really, really young rookie team, and Matt Stafford. What?
Just love that analogy. Like the Walking Dead. I love that analogy.
I mean, he has so many injured. I mean, like, I'm looking at like the receiving core, and like you take DeMarcus Robinson out the equation. I have no idea who any of these people are. Like, I'm just looking at it, just going like, what is this? I mean, it got to the point where they took Matt Stafford out of the game at one point in the 4th quarter, and I just thought that they're just a team on the decline, and I am not surprised that they're 0-2. They've played 2 games and they've looked really poor in both of them, whilst the Cardinals are a cool 500. And this is one of their best showings I've seen in a long time, and I don't think they're going to be a laughing stock this year.
No, I mean, I'll come to you in a second, Ollie, but it looks like we've got Kyler Murray before he went down injured.
Yes. I can't stress it again. I never want the NFC teams to do well, but the ones I hate the least. I never want the NFC West teams to do well, but I don't dislike the Cardinals as much as I dislike the Rams and the Seahawks. Like, they're always like the little.
Want the 49ers to do well.
I mean, I always want the 49ers to do well. I mean, we've established our fandom earlier on in my little rant, but if it was like a mixture between who would I want to see win between the Cardinals, the Rams, and the Seahawks, I would pick the Cards.
I heard Amazon was round at Kyler Murray's house this morning delivering a new PS5 because his other one must be broken.
I mean, we've got until the new Call of Duty comes out in October, just to let you know.
Phil, I've got a question for you actually.
Go on.
Next week, Niners going to SoFi. Are you at all worried with no Puka Nacua, possibly no Cooper Kupp, and a banged up Rams team?
No, I'm never worried when we play the Rams. Like, I think we'll go into SoFi and we'll dominate like we always do. I'm not being overly arrogant. I just think that the 49ers always have a really good bounce back under Shanahan after a disappointing loss, and the Rams are a perfect game.
Apart from the little 3-game losing streak we had last year.
Yeah, but then we went on and got to Super Bowl, so I'm all chatting about that. I'm not. The Rams don't have it. Like you said, they've got no offensive weapons. I looked at their lineup that who Matt Stafford was thrown to, and it's a lot of people that I have no idea who they are, and I don't. And Kyle has a really good record playing against his former coaches.
True. Shano.
Right, did we cover all the 6 o'clock games?
No, I'm going to do it in a bit.
Okay, no, just checking. I thought you wanted to do it time chronologically, but that's fine. No worries.
No. We
I was
seem to
going
talk
to
about
let you talk about Sunday Night Football, and then I was going to go through the rest of the games. But
Okay.
I think we'll do all the games we want to cover in detail, and then go through the rest.
Yeah.
Okay.
Go on then. Sunday Night Football, Shano.
Yes, we can. Yeah, Chicago Bears against the Houston Texans. We've all said there's a lot of hyperbole surrounding this Texans team. How far can they go? How good are they? They made it look difficult against the Bears, winning 19-13. CJ looked great again. Tank Dell looked amazing again. Stephon Diggs, I'm a big fan anyway, so he cannot do any wrong in my eyes. I think they had a good game, but also Caleb is struggling to acclimatize to the league, I think. I know it's only his second game in, but I think he played a really bad Titans team last week and the defense carried them to the win. And maybe the jury's out on this Bears team already. It's just a case of the Texans are a good team. Who do the Bears have next? Any idea?
Yes.
I can get that very quickly. They've got the Colts.
They have the Colts next. Yeah, that's an equally tough game as well. So they could be going into next week as 1-2.
Oh God! Look, I didn't realize this, but Colts are 0-2. Anthony Richardson's thrown for 416 yards. He's thrown 3 tutties but 4 interceptions.
One of them was a Hail Mary, though.
He had an awful game this week.
Well, I mean, interception's an interception. I'm just saying, bad stats are bad stats.
Do you mean Nico Collins or Tank Dell? Because Nico Collins had 8 receptions for 135 yards and a tutty.
Like I said, but I think they've both been incredible. I think that Texans team is going to go far this year. It's going to go quite deep into the playoffs, if not get the Super Bowl itself.
Balls deep.
Sorry, go on. Go for it, mate.
No, go on. Say it. I'm just looking at the next. I mean, I'll say before our Thursday game, but I'm just looking at some of their fixtures going forward for the Bears and seeing who they've got going as well. I mean, they've got a pretty decent run of games. They're playing the 0-2 Colts, then they'll go to the probably 0-3 Rams, and then they'll go to the 0-4 Panthers, and then they'll go to Jacksonville, and they've got a really it's almost like the schedule really does suit the Bears.
The problem is with Chicago is the 5 big guys in front of Caleb Williams.
Yeah, they gave him no protection.
Caleb Williams got sacked 7 times last night. He got hit 40 times.
Yeah.
Exactly.
40.
Jesus Christ, man.
I mean, yes, the pass rush by Houston is pretty much up there as one of the top 5 in the league. But you cannot let your whole quarterback get sacked 7 times. Yes, some of them was him scrambling to get through, try and get a bit of extra yardage or extend the play. But a lot of them was literally barn doors open. There you go. Turnstiles, bang, straight into him. He didn't have a hope in hell.
40, he must have been being hit every play.
I know, it's ridiculous. So there was 59 snaps on the offensive side of the ball, and he got hit 40 times.
And how many rushing attempts were there? By
22. Oh, I mean, these are the carries. So I'm looking at the total plays on carries and passing.
Okay.
You could have 59 plays. You got hit for 40 times. You can't let your quarterback get hit that much.
That was literally 2/3 of the plays.
That's Joe Burrow getting hit that often. And
we're all
you can't let your quarterback get hit that many times. I don't care who it is.
Wait, no.
It's not good. Right. Let's roll around the last of the games before we go to tonight's football. So let's start in LA with the Chargers have found their new RB1 with J.K. Dobbins leading the Chargers to a 26-3 win over sorry Panthers. And then there's a performance that's cost Bryce Young his job. We'll cover more of that on Thursday's show. The Saints have a new car in the OC seat or in the OC drive as he's bringing the best out of Alvin Kamara and Derek Carr as the Cowboys get routed by the Saints 44-19. Tampa Bay have got their revenge over the Lions with a 2016 win. Baker Mayfield is looking scarily good again. Really scared. Okay, I'm not convinced. I'm not ready to say Malik Willis is a good quarterback or a genuine quarterback, but he did lead the Packers to a 16-10 win over the Colts yesterday.
Yeah, but Anthony Richardson had an absolute nightmare of a game.
Cleveland found a little bit of form, so they've gone into second gear at a very wet Trevor Bank field to hold off a late drive from the Jags to an 18-13. Aaron Rodgers got his first win as a Jet, but that's not the main story as 20-year-old Braylon Allen, who for the Jets is the youngest ever player in the NFL to receive and rush for a touchdown in the same game as the Jets beat Titans 24-17.
I believe last week he was the second youngest player to ever get a touch in the NFL.
I know, it's ridiculous. Did you see how Will Levis got torn apart by his OC, his head coach?
Yeah.
For a stupid fumble. Finally, the best of the AFC East saw Jayden Daniels register his first win for the Commanders with a 21-18 win over the Giants, who went the whole game without their kicker because Graham Gano got injured on kickoff. And finally, the Steelers picked off Bo Nix twice to beat the Broncos 13-6.
That game, just quickly, that game was one of the most low-quality games I've ever seen.
Have you seen Bo Nix's comment? So they, in the press conference afterwards, they went to, so talk us about that interception at the end zone. Bo Nix's response was, step back, got picked off.
Well, fact is facts.
I absolutely love that. I mean, it was a good play defensively, more than a bad throw from Bo Nix, because the DB did come flying across the grab, and it was a good pick.
Pick six, Bo Nix.
Yeah, tonight's game, Falcons against the Eagles. Who wants to start on this one, gentlemen?
I'll take it first.
Bob.
I know I said the Falcons are a dark horse for the Super Bowl before the season started. I still kind of believe it, but I think they're going to get absolutely destroyed by a very, very good-looking Eagles side last week. Saquon looked like Saquon's probably. I think it was probably the best I saw him play last weekend. Jalen Hurts looks back to the same. Big Dom's back on the sideline. The defense didn't look that good actually. The Packers kind of cut them apart, but Kirk Cousins didn't look good last week. So I think the Eagles win this game easy, probably by 2 scores or more.
Yeah, go on, parent.
Kind of agreed. It seems like the NFL have shot themselves in the foot with this idea that the Atlanta Falcons are going to be a super team. You know what happened last year where in advance all the TV stations were buying up all the Jets games and Monday Night Football and Sunday Night Football and all that kind of stuff. And then in anticipation for like Aaron Rodgers' homecoming, and that literally died a quick death. It seems like the NFL has not learned from their mistakes and they're doing the exact same thing with Kirk Cousins.
Just quickly, I've got a comment saying Kirk needs WD-40 to get rid of the rust.
Watching Kirk Cousins step back into the in the pocket with a throw, he looks like the Tin Man from Wizard of Oz. Seriously, what was is literally he hasn't. It's no awareness. But then we're probably seeing the aftermath of, what it's like for a near 40-year-old man who has just come back from a torn. Was it Achilles? Was it ACL?
Yeah, it was Achilles.
Yeah, coming back from a torn Achilles. And bear in mind, the quarterback position requires you to put pressure on that particular body part when you're throwing and going through your motions. I think Kirk is cooked. And I think that's probably why they drafted his replacement in the first round. I I don't see him finishing the season as a starter. There we go. That's my controversial opinion.
Shano.
Nothing controversial about that, my old buddy. Right, let me just quickly circle back to Washington and New York. Did anybody see that stat today? The Giants are the only team to throw for 3 touchdowns and lose the game on kicks. That's never happened before. That's an insane stat.
That's what happens when you don't have a kicker. To go back to what you said of Kirk, I've seen a few videos this week and see things of how his stance isn't the same now. He's more square on. He used to be, you coach kids. When you're quarterback, you're meant to be on the angle, aren't you? You're meant to be on a 45-degree angle to the O-line and all that as well. But he's very square on now. He's not exactly the same stance. I think that's the effect of it because his throws were very, very wayward last week. It was ridiculous. I was surprised he threw for an actual touchdown, 155 yards. But that secondary in Philadelphia isn't ready yet, isn't as good. Obviously, Philadelphia don't have AJ Brown tonight.
Yeah.
But I am going for Philly for the win. Shano?
Boys, you've got to go Philly for the win, course. Well, with Saquon's performance against the Packers in Brazil last week, boys. I was doubting Philly at the beginning of the season, and I was thinking, why has everybody put them so high in their power rankings? And I was dumbfounded, basically. But now I can see, we've only seen one game, but I think they played really well in the absence of Fletcher Cox and that Kelsey boy. I'm definitely going for the win tonight. I think Kirk is washed. He's only been one game, but he's old now. I think he's washed, and I genuinely think, Eagles for the win all day.
How many players have we said have passed it and washed tonight in the show? Is that 3?
Well, we haven't the Justin Tucker yet, thankfully. Oh, why did I say that for?
You're calling your kicker washed already? Bloody hell, Shane.
I don't know what is going on with what the panic button Ravens fans are saying.
Phil, you going for Eagles? I'm guessing on what you're saying.
I'm going on Eagles. I don't think the Falcons are going to do anything tonight. I just think the Eagles. Yeah, no, it's going to. I'm going to go for the Eagles. Yeah.
Cool. Fair enough. We are coming to the end of the show. I normally get interrupted at this point by Mr. Harris or a baby host.
I was going to say, funny. I'd like to, if that's okay.
Go on then.
Thank you. No, I just wanted to say, as I have done previously, and I will do again, I haven't done it for a few weeks. Just want to say a huge thank you once again to the people that listen, and new listeners, old viewers, new viewers. Greatly appreciated for our, we love this. We love doing this. We greatly appreciate everyone that listens to the show. New fans, old fans, boys. We wouldn't do it without you lot. So, this is for you. And another one, thank you so much.
Okay.
Oh.
Right. As always, we are available for downloads tomorrow morning via Spotify
or today,
or wherever you get your podcast from. We will be back Thursday night for our regular Thursday night show with all funs and laughs. But until then, ladies and gentlemen,
our Thursday show is now at 9:00, not 8:30.
Correct, 9:00.
Until then, ladies and gentlemen, good night. Stay safe.